If you are the type of person that says, I want something little and ugly and weird that's hard to take care of and the blooms last one day, we got you there too.
Hey there, this is Yoshi. I am at Emerald City Orchids right now, meeting up with Orchids in Paradise, the Hawaiian YouTuber here. She's visiting the Seattle area, so we had pre-arranged this meeting, so it should be great. We're gonna tour around together. So let's go.
No, some days I still feel like a beginner. And that's why orchids are magic. Because you will not ever, every time you make a success, you build on it. But you will never learn them all. And there's always going to be an orchid out there that'll kick your butt. Right? So there's a new challenge and there's always something new to learn. And that's why I love it. And that's when I knew. It was that conversation when I was talking to Mr. Grip. That's when I knew. Because I was a young man, I think I was probably 25, 26 at that time. And I was looking for a career, something I could do with my life, a lifetime of work. And I really liked working at the orchid nursery, and I was wondering, should I try to do this as a career? And when I had that conversation with him, I was like, yes, I know this is something I can do forever and never get to the end. You never get bored with orchids. You start on orchids, if you're on another plant, if you start on orchids, no other plant will ever interest you. You'll dabble.
I agree.
I dabble. I got some things I dabble. We dabble in airways, I'll play with the Hoopersia. Those things are fun, If you want to have some fun with some begonias, let's have some begonia fun, But begonia is like a lover. An orchid is a wife. You know what I mean? That's the one you marry and take home and have your babies with, right? That's the one that you put your future into. Orchids are really wonderful plant. Do you guys want to walk around just to talk about some orchids and some of the stuff that's in here?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what kind of content you want for this video, but the only thing I love more than orchids is talking about orchids, and I'll talk about orchids all day. There's all kind of weird stuff in this section. This is an epidendrum. This is from South America, and I like this thing because it makes this really awesome big stem and a bright orange flower. I'll put this thing in a tree fern Osmunda log here, and I did it, I want to say some 8-10 years ago. Never flowered. This thing has never bloomed, and I don't know exactly why. I got all my other epidendrums to bloom. This one doesn't bloom. I don't mind. It's still a real rad plant. It gets bigger every year. It looks cool, but it's never flowered. And the name tag fell out years ago, so I'm not sure which one it is even, but I could figure it out. And then there's other weird things too, like this here we have, this is Schomburgkia myrmecophila, now myrmecophila. This is Tabicinus. These two, and there's a third one in here somewhere, this one on this log right here. Right here. I had an employee a long time ago. He's somewhere out in the world these days. He's an artist now. His name was Ross Schooley. And his high school job was he worked in our nursery. And the year that we legalized weed and gay marriage in Washington State, which I believe was 2014, Ross Schooley and I put these 3 logs together. So they've been on those logs for over 10 years apiece. This one has the addition of an Angrecum erectum on it. It's from Volunteer Park Conservatory.
Is that little one?
That's that little one. It's in the Angrecum family.
That's funny.
They're kind of cool. We also have that one for sale around the corner. They have never flowered. Not once in 11 years has any of these ever flowered, right? Now you take that same exact plant, which is planted in tree fern, on a tree fern log, growing vertically. You drill a hole in the tree fern log, and you put that same plant in there horizontally, and it blooms within 12 months.
Go figure, right?
It'll bloom all the time. And I don't know what the difference is between that and this. Same plant, same thing it's growing on. You just put it in horizontal with a little bit more humidity around the root. And then they give it another awful name, Myrmecophila, which is another one that's hard to say or spell. Myrmec in Latin means ant, the critter with 6 legs that ruins your picnic. And philos means to love. So Myrmecophila means ant lover. And the reason that these are not lumped back into Laelia like the rest of the Schomburgkias were is because at the bottom of it, I'm going to see if I can point to it with something. The bottom of it right here. You can kind of see it right there. And under here. And in each one of these, at the bottom of the pseudobulb is a hole. And in Costa Rica, the children sometimes poke holes in this and make a flute out of it. Because that pseudobulb is hollow. And in the inside of it is a Costa Rican fire ant.
Huh. I didn't
Lives
know that
inside. Because in Costa Rica, these things grow in a very dry and arid area of the country. The arid areas of the country are not far from the very rainy areas of the country, oftentimes on the opposite side of the same mountain. One side, on the leeward side, will be dry, and on the other side is where it gets all the rain, right? So it just depends which way the winds blow. And you get Mr. Three-Toed Sloth crawling through the jungle. He's got lots of stuff to eat. He gets to the dry side, there's nothing to eat. There's nothing to eat over here. Okay, so what am I going to eat? Well, this looks good, and it's real sweet, and it's full of sugar. So I'm going to rip this thing off the tree and eat it. All right, well, if it doesn't have fire ants in it, Mr. Three-Toed Sloth eats it. If the fire ant is in it and the sloth starts rustling the thing, all the fire ants come out and start biting the sloth. And the sloth is now like, ew, I'm getting bit. I don't like this. I got to eat something else. Okay? And these critters, they are smart and they have generational knowledge. And now all the sloth know, don't eat this one. It's got ants inside. This one's not good. All right? Now what's wild is the ants are in there eating the plant from the inside out. And yes, it's providing security, but if you're providing security from somebody else that's going to eat the plant, why would the plant allow the security to go ahead and eat the plant? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is the security, but also ant poop. Ant poop is perfect fertilizer. It's got all this nitrogen, potassium in it, right? The Myrmecophila that has ant living inside of it, that one flowers. The one that does not, doesn't flower. Right? Now in here, we don't need ants. We just use fertilizer. We just water it with fertilizer. But the ones that have ants living in it, they can make the flower. The flower, when it comes out, it's a 4, 5, 6 foot stem. And then the blooms at the end, it's this cluster of these big, beautiful purple flowers. The blooms at the end. Oddly enough, ants are not the pollinator. Pollinator is a hummingbird.
Huh. Okay.
So the symbiosis works in these very complex ways, right? There's some very interesting... Every orchid's got a story. And in here the story is doesn't bloom, does bloom. So, it's just about which way we turn the thing sometimes. If you're having trouble with your orchid and it's not blooming, change something. Change where it is. Change the temperature. Repot it. Mount it. Take it off the mount. Put it in a pot. There's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a lot of debate about this one. This Grammatophyllum. And people were trying to figure out, does this thing grow on a tree? Does this thing grow on the ground? Does it grow on a tree? Does it grow on the ground? Where does this thing grow? And people were arguing. It's loosely related to Cymbidium. A lot of people thought, Cymbidium's terrestrial. This must be terrestrial. All right? Well, you can solve the debate by going to see them, but a lot of areas where these things used to grow is deforested, so they're harder and harder to find, right? And you can see them in nature. They're sometimes growing on the ground, sometimes growing on a tree, but where do they like to grow, okay? Sometimes history has the answer. Georg Schomburg, right? Rump. Georg Rump. I just said Schomburg. I'm mixing my names up. Georg Rump was a gentleman soldier in the Dutch East India Company back in the 1600s. And Schomburg got deployed to Indonesia. And he never came back. He ended up living his whole life in Indonesia. And he became a botanist. And this was before we even had Latin binomials. So this guy is really, really early in the process. And he had a crazy life. His family died, I think, of disease, and then his second family died in a flood, and then he went blind, and I can't remember, he had so many problems. But he made an anthology that was his life's work. It was a 12-volume anthology of the plants of Indonesia. 2 whole volumes of this anthology of book were about anggrek. That's what he called them. Anggrek is where we get the word angrecum, and it is an Indonesian word that means orchid. And he had 2 whole books based on anggrek. And he also did wood carving illustrations. And they printed this book. This is a printed book. They printed this book, I think the year he died or the year after he died, and it was printed posthumously using a Gutenberg-style printing press. That's how old this was. I think the first edition came out in 1701. This book was published in English, I think in like 2016. It's an old book to be like not in English in all this time. We got our first English translation, you know, some 300 years later. One of the prints in this book shows this plant growing on the side of a palm tree. Debate over. Here's evidence from 300 years ago. We got these, in this nursery we have things that we do that are kind of our own things, but we really have a huge selection of stuff. And to get the selection, we try to work with our network, which is all these different orchid nurseries around the world. One of the only places to get very good, steady, reliable African species is from Afri Orchids, which is where we got this Anzelia africana. This is related to that grammatophyllum. It's in the same family, only instead of making a big pseudobulb, this one makes a cane and makes a very long inflorescence with a big tiger-striped, fragrant flower. Really fun orchid. I'd never even heard of this orchid until about 3 or 4 years ago when I met the guy from this nursery who sold us these. And oh boy, it's one of my favorites now. I like these a lot. Anzelia africana is a really wonderful orchid. If you see them, it's the Grobbler family, Lawrence and Joe, and they come to America probably 4 or 5 times a year. You could see them in Florida. They pop in at Cal down in California. They pop in at Cal now and then. You might see them at Santa Barbara, San Francisco. But if you see Afri, check out their lineup and they can give them a pre-order. We have some of their stuff in here. It's really cool, very fun stuff. Really cool, different things. A lot of different things. Some orchids are big. Those are big orchids. Look at this thing. This orchid is tiny. Schoenorchis fragrans. This thing, Schoenorchis, they named these plants. They give them descriptive names. Schoenorchis is a Latinized German, means beautiful orchid. Like, buddy, please, you couldn't come up with something a little better? They're all beautiful. This makes a little purple inflorescence with a bunch of little flowers. What's crazy about this is a mature blooming sized plant. And this plant will make a fragrance that will smell up your whole house. And this tiny, tiny little plant. It's in the Vanda Alliance. This is a Vandaceous thing. Wonderful plant. Not too hard to grow. Trick with this one is air movement. Lots of air movement. They need wind. They have said, the ominous they, you know, the people who do this, they have done this and they say, you can't grow Vandas in the Northwest. They won't flower, they won't grow. Look at these Vandas. Come in here and tell me you can't grow a Vanda in the Northwest. Okay? You can grow an orchid anywhere you want as long as you are taking into account your environment and adjusting for water. We water these Vandas like crazy every single day, sometimes twice a day in summer to get these big, beautiful roots. In winter, we go down to about once a week because our day here is very, very short. And they can actually get very cold. These Vandas are like, oh, they only grow warm, they only grow warm. No, you can get them cold. This thing goes down to 55 in here, okay? And it can get even colder. It has to be dry to be cold. You can't have it cold and wet, but it has to be dry. A lot of cool stuff in here. This is a new favorite of mine. I love these a lot. Epidendrum central petalum. I like this thing a lot. This is Epidendrum central petalum. And epidendrums have a habit of kind of doing this where they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, look, you got one here on the bench and it's reached all the way to the roof. Oh, yeah. And they're just, you know, they get annoying sometimes. And there's one here at the end. This one here down at the end. Right? Like, we put this one in this giant log. And now it's just like taking this whole log. You can just log probably weighs like 30 pounds and you can just lift it up by the plant. I mean, this thing is just a monster. This is an orchid is so big it's going to steal your lunch money. It's just, you know, it's a bully at this point. But this is Epidendrum central petalum, and it only has to get this big before, this is an old flower stem, before it starts to flower. And it makes this beautiful pink flower. Beautiful. This thing's gorgeous. But it won't kick you out of your own house. You can grow this thing in a house and not have it just get, you know, feed me Seymour huge. Because sometimes some of these epidendrums, they just get annoying big. Everybody likes these things from the grocery store. Give me the thing from the grocery store. All right, you want to grow a grocery store orchid, but you want to get a real one. I want a real orchid, but I want it to be easy like a grocery store orchid. Get something like one of these. Phalaenopsis schilleriana. This is a species orchid. It makes these leaves. The leaves get longer and longer and longer the older the plant gets. This is a really good one to grow kind of up on a wall and let the leaves get long and hang down. And then this will make a cascading stem, and all the little flowers are spread apart, and they got that moth shape, just like the one at the store. You grow it just like the one at the store. Same, if you can do the one at the store, you can do this one. Except that this one has this cool leaf with the spots. When the spots get really, really gnarly, they kind of line up and they can make it a little stripey. So you can get stripes or spots on this. And then when the flower comes out, they kind of range from white to purple. Most of them are in a pink. It's fragrant. It's fragrant. The one at the store, not fragrant. This thing is fragrant. This is it. This is everything you want. This is everything you want. It's got this cool leaf. The flower comes out and it's beautiful and it lasts for a few months. And then it's fragrant and it's easy to take care of. You just water it once a week at the most. You know, if you can't grow an orchid, you can grow this. You can the easiest plant in the world. And it looks cool. You know. Now some of these orchids, okay, I'll admit, all right? You know, something like this, okay, right? Another Phalaenopsis. This come from Taiwan. This is a really neat plant, right? But when it's got no flowers on it, it's dreadfully boring. This is really boring. If this is all this plant did, there's no way I would ever grow this. This plant makes a flower that lasts for 3 months. That flower that lasts for 3 months on your kitchen table, that's why you grow this. But this plant, this is beautiful. This is exciting to look at. So this has got dynamic, you know, it's growing, it's cool when it's not blooming, it's really neat when it does bloom. There's all kind of, oh man, this section, these guys over here, all of this stuff. Sometimes you get a really reliable orchid. You see that flower, the flower bud forming in here? These things, just like one flower at a go, bloom all summer long. The flowers don't last long, okay, yeah, that's fine. But it's just like constantly coming back into flower, all right? This is a good plant. If you want something that blooms a lot, it's very rewarding, you know, get some of those. Now, if you guys want, most people come in and they talk to their orchid people and they're like, I want something that lasts a long time, it's pretty and it's easy to take care of. We got you. We totally got you. We totally got you. If you are the type of person that says, I want something little and ugly and weird that's hard to take care of and the blooms last one day, we got you there too. Diplocolobum, get one. The flower lasts a day. It's hard to grow. It's not fun. But when they do bloom, it is kind of rewarding. But that's in here too. We got that in here too. There's a lot of different things. There's an orchid that matches every single person out there. We're changing it up in this greenhouse. We're going to change the organization. But the previous organization was that this was all orchids. The nearer side is shadier stuff. On the farther side was the brighter stuff. And the Cattleya Alliance is all in here. And the Vanda Alliance is all in here. And in here is also Collagenea, Stanhopeias. All the Pleurophthalus stuff is in here. Maxillaria is all in here. In the other greenhouse is where we would put Oncidium species, Dendrobiums, Bulbophyllum, Cymbidium. That's kind of all in the one that's behind me. So we do kind of have things organized by genus in here a little bit. Some things kind of get a little lost in the shuffle, right? Come over here, I'll show you some other weird stuff. You guys like growing on the video at home? You guys like growing stuff in terrariums? Or any terrarium people watching? If you got a wet, cool terrarium, get a Pleurophthalus. This type of orchid, there's small ones and there's big ones, right? And the flower on these things comes out the middle of the leaf, right? And some of them will make a big flower and some will make these weird little ones. There's a lot of them. But this, if you keep this cool and shady and wet and like yours truly, not too bright, this thing does really, really, really well. And once it starts blooming, it doesn't really stop blooming. But it's definitely in the category of a weird, ugly little plant, which is oftentimes my favorite. I like the little weird, ugly ones. But that's a lot of that's in here. This section never gets full sun, never gets any sun through the whole year. Even in summer, this is in the shadow of the building. It's always shady in here. One of my favorites is Collagenea pandurata.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, Pandorata is beautiful. Makes a giant stem, neon green stem with a dark purple in the middle that's hairy. Really cool.
Do
Very
those
cool
like
plant.
to be kept moist?
Cold and wet? Cold and wet, not too bright.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to move mine then.
Yeah, most of the Silogeny are very good drinkers. Right? Now, if you can't tell, just watch the pseudobulbs. Here's a trick for the folks at home. Orchids, a lot of them got this thing, it's called a pseudo-bulb. It's not a bulb, it just looks like a bulb, and it's this bit at the bottom of the leaf. And it acts like the stomach of the plant, and on almost every variety that has one, you want the thing to be fat. Fat is good, fat is healthy, right? You want it to be fat and full of sugary water, right? If it starts out fat and then it starts to get thinner, like that, and it starts to wrinkle or prunes like your finger and you've been in the bath too long, you're not watering it enough. This thing needs a lot of water. Look at the pseudobulb here on the end. The side that's getting water is that side. This was growing on this side, and then this pseudobulb is all shriveled up. This side doesn't get as much water. And then the new growth here kind of, stalled out, and the leaf died off of it. So the way we're watering, I think this actually was facing the other way. Because the way we're watering, this side's getting more water now. But this wasn't getting enough water. See all these wrinkles? See how flat that is? Right? It should be full. It should be fat. Now this type of plant's a little tricky to grow this way. We're doing it that way despite that, but I have an example of it here. This is what happens when you get too many orchids. Pandorata, see? This is a recent division. We just took a division off of another one. You grow it in a pot, it doesn't shrivel out as fast, okay? Because when it's down here, it's drying out right away, especially in the summer. If you grow it in a pot, you can get the thing to grow and it stays and it's holding water in the pot. All right. So like we can grow it just fine. This looks awful and we're showing it to you on the internet. But that's because it's mounted on this thing and it's a harder way to grow it. And when you put it in a pot, and this one's having some issues with a little bit of fungus because the new growth is sitting against another plant. The density here is too high. We're trying to spread these things out. We want to have them get a little more room. But, your orchid's not doing well, change it. Does it need more water? Change it. Does it need less water? Change it. All right? You're not going to change yourself. Keep watering on your schedule, but change the orchid so that it's retaining or holding more water, or less, or whatever it needs, We just had this thing bloom a few days ago, Stanhopea.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Stanhopea lasts a day, 3 days, if you're lucky, right? Cool plant. If you get here, I call it my Sunday plant because they always flower. I take my day of rest on Sunday. And it always seems to bloom on Sunday. We put them at home. So I get to come in on Monday and see what happened before. We have a lot of things here that are Stanhopea, Silogeny, cool and wet growing things here in baskets. Also, a lot of the things that are in baskets bloom from the bottom. Come around this side, I'll show you the section blooms from the bottom the most. These are all Dracula. And Dracula make these stems. They sometimes, this one's got grass growing in it. It's some of your Hawaiian grass. It's got the stems that come out of the bottom of the thing, right? So these are all flower stems. And this is gonna bloom. And when it blooms, all these flowers are gonna face straight down. So, when you're growing this at home, you kind of hang it up. Problem is, though, this doesn't like a lot of light, right? This area is getting just the tiniest bit of afternoon light in the summer, and just a couple of days where it just scorched the top of all of these. But now we're going to have to grow them for another year to repair them. But Dracula loves to flower out the bottom. You kind of have to grow it in a basket. It wants to be cold. It wants to be wet. It grows in the Andes Mountains at very high altitudes where the weather doesn't really change that much. It's just cold and wet all the time. Picture a beautiful day in the Northwest. That's it. Cold and rainy, right? But these you kind of have to grow them in the basket. We have a lot of low tax here. We also have in here Gigas, Simia. If you guys don't know, these are the monkey orchids, the monkey face. Inside the flower, it has the shape of a monkey face. We kind of started here earlier today. Come on down here. I'll show you guys some of the Dendrobium we're growing in here. We got all these bulbophyllums too. All these bulbophyllums on this wall. All kind of different ones. This one just got done kind of blooming a little bit. Some of the ones that bloomed got sold, but this one had a little neon orange flower on it. I really like this section for its diversity. And then we do a lot of dendrobiums in here, and we were talking about dendrobiums early and how many of them there are. These are Laturia type dendrobiums. This dendrobium is unique among orchids because it reblooms from old growth, whereas most orchids will only flower from their new growth. So when you get a plant that's like this, that's really, really big, you get a lot of flowers to show on it. Sometimes you get a cattleya or something as it gets like real huge, and then there's like a flower over here and a flower over here, and you're like, bro, you look weird. You're a big plant with some flower on one side of you. Like, how come you can't make more flowers? What's your problem? Not this dendrobium. These things, man, they make flowers all over the place. And then you got dendrobiums like that, all right? Now, this type of dendrobium, you got to get a little cooler and drier in winter. Now, that one likes to stay warm, wet, kind of year-round. The one behind it, this one here, cooler and drier in winter, right? Some of these dendrobiums are deciduous. They lose their leaves. Try and find one I can pull off here. Here we go. Look at this thing. Beautiful plant, ugly dead stuff. Okay? You grow this at home. Most people grow this at home. They're like, oh, this is beautiful. And then what happens is all the leaves fall off and they're like, oh man, this looks weird. And then they go around, snip, snip, snip. I'm gonna keep this clean by cutting all the dead parts off. Okay? Problem is, the dead part is where it blooms. Dead part's where it blooms. When it's blooming in here, we tend to take it in the garage, but I'll look around, I'll see if I can find one that's maybe got a flower bud forming on it or a flower open on it in here to show you guys. We may have to go in the garage to see when it's actually blooming. But yeah, when you have these, you know, you got to get them real big and then watch all the leaves fall off and then call me up here at the shop in a panic. The leaves are falling off, they're falling off. And I'm like, open the champagne, open the champagne, open the champagne, open the champagne. The flowers are coming. Okay, because you know once the leaves fall off, you're getting close to bloom time. This one's fuzzy. Look at this. It's got
I've never seen a fuzzy one.
See all this hair on here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like to make the joke. I forget its name.
Snaily or something?
Senile.
Yeah.
Vanilla, yeah. This one's famous. This one's famous for being fuzzy. People like to grow this one for the texture. The flower's okay. I like the flower. It's more or less your average dendro, but that fuzziness. You're talking about Jenkensii that was in the flask?
Yes.
Big blooming one?
Oh, okay.
This
that's
is huge.
Oh.
This is a real, real big one. When it flowers, it's
does
going to
look like
be
the
covered in all this.
aggregatum.
Huh?
The plant itself does look like the aggregatum.
It's very similar to aggregatum.
Yes.
Is this one? Is aggregatum? There's like a dozen that are kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then really close to those are all the ones like Farmeri and Fimbriatum that kind of hang down a little bit.
What's the difference between the aggregatum and that?
This one's smaller.
It's smaller.
Aggregatum's more
Bigger,
yellow.
yeah.
Sometimes it tends to push to orange.
Okay. The flower smaller too?
This one is smaller. Smaller flower, smaller plant.
Still fragrant though?
All of them are fragrant.
Oh, yeah.
All of this type of fragrant. And they often have a very sweet honey-like smell. A very kind of, it's like honey. Yeah.
Nice.
One that's very similar to this that I kind of like, or it has a similar flower to this that I kind of like, it's a different plant altogether, is Dendrobium hancockii.
Oh.
Hancockii comes from the Himalayas. It's a Himalayan plant.
Oh.
And at the foothills of the Himalayas, it gets real cold in winter because all the precipitation is up on the mountain top. All the Mount Everest and everything traps all the snow up there. And in the forests and the jungles, this cold air, dry air slides down into the forest, down the mountain. So hancockii needs to get real, real cold, almost freezing.
Oh.
And it likes to be dry in winter.
Yeah, my
and
area
it's
is
super hard for me to not water the thing. And I used to get maybe one, maybe two flowers on a plant. And then one year my buddy from the Orchid Society is like, yo buddy, you gotta let that thing get cold. Stop watering it so much. So I put it was actually really close to here, I put it on this rafter at the end. I put it all the way up at the top, and when I was watering, I just kind of splashed it a little bit in winter, not water it too much at all, right? And I left it there, and it just got so big that the leaves were almost touching the roof, and it was snowing, and it's getting super cold. And I'm looking at that plant every day like, oh my God, is this okay what I'm doing to this poor plant? This thing I got 1 or 2 flowers on most year. 22 blooms that year.
That's how you know it's happy.
Yeah, that's what correct is.
Yeah.
Correct is 22 blooms. Okay, so sometimes you got to do something outside of your comfort zone. This whole wall, we turn the heat off sometimes in winter. In the middle of winter, we'll turn the heat off and let all these dendrobiums get real cold, and we'll just stop watering. We'll stop watering for a week. Once it's kind of good and dry, we turn the heat way down. We leave the heat off for like a week, so they go through a real hard, cold, dry period. And then all these dendrobiums with canes, leaves start falling all over the place. The dendrobiums are mad, they're mad, leaves are dropping, and we're like, oh no, what do? We got them too cold, And then spring comes, and it's just like pop,
Like
flowers
crazy.
everywhere. You all out in Hawaii, if you're watching this and you're from Hawaii, hono hono.
That's what I grow.
And it loses leaves, and the part with no leaf is where it flowers, and it's
Yeah.
very fragrant. The name for hono hono in Latin is Dendrobium anosmum, which is I don't know if this is a joke or what, but it means anosmum means does not smell, no scent, and hono hono is one of the most beautiful smelling orchids,
It
and
is.
literally every one of them smells.
That's why it's so popular back home, because of the
You
fragrance.
just tie it onto a tree or put it on the post of the lanai and just leave it alone.
Exactly.
And it blooms, and out there it'll bloom a couple times a year, be real beautiful. Yeah, we have some of those. We grow them here. We have some hono honos in the lineup. We might get some more. We haven't had those in a while, like new batch of them in a while. But we do like to have those in here. Some of these dendrobiums are real little mysteries. This is polyanthum. This is the one I was telling you is real tiny. If you let this thing go, sometimes once in a while, it'll actually bloom in the flask.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's just because it's a smaller plant. This one I like a lot. I'll tell you though, I kind of hate growing it. It's a little picky. Leonis. It looks like Angrecum Leonis. It looks like a lot of other things, but this is actually Dendrobium. Right? Kind of weird. You ever see a dendro looks like this?
I've seen it.
I mean, you've seen his plant,
Yeah,
but
I've
like,
seen
it doesn't
it,
look
yeah.
like these other dendros.
Yeah.
How is this possible? I don't know. The world's full of mysteries. This is why I love orchids. There's a little mystery with this plant. And one day we may solve it, or one day it may remain a mystery, This is ugly. This is the ugliest, deadest. Look. That's dead. It's yellow. It's yellow. It's shriveled and yellow, and it's dead. No. Look. Fresh flower stems. Okay? They bloom from the dead bits, these dendros. Real weird plant. Who's blooming from dead stuff these days? Dendros. Over here is a bunch. We got a whole bunch. Some of the stuff from China is really cool. I want to show you a Chinese one. Look at this one. Chinese Dendrobium. This is a Shijingenzi.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Never heard
Yeah.
of that.
That's a new one, isn't it?
If you hear Enzi in Latin means from this place. So anytime you hear something Enzi, it's the name of where it grows. So there's a region somewhere in China, Xijing. I've been taking the Mandarin on the Duolingo, and it's going terribly. It has a silver leaf. This is the natural leaf color. Right?
That's
Makes a
cute.
pink flower. That's right. Green leaf. Silver leaf. Right, here's another one. This is in a different region of China, though. This is a Officinale. Very similar, adjacent species. Right? Doesn't grow in the exact same spot. Has a similar silver leaf. I think this is a beautiful architectural plant. If you put this on the wall of your terrarium, it fills in the space really nicely. And then with a lot of terrarium plants, they become obtrusive because they start growing too big, and the leaves are just growing everywhere, and it's just choking out everything in the terrarium. But with this, what happens is it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then as it's getting bigger, more of the old bits are dying off. I'm trying to see if I can find something comparable. that would explain this, but like, here, maybe like this plant, right? So all of this stuff stays in the terrarium without filling it all in and making it look too crowded. And this is where the bloom comes from. So you got enough leaves on this thing to make this look interesting when it's hanging there. But then the leaves fall off and these just turn into canes that bloom. So this is a perfect terrarium plant because it always kind of occupies the same approximate space. And then once in a while, it shoots a bloom right out your terrarium window. So you're looking right at this cool bloom. Awesome orchid. These things are so cool. I love these dendrobiums a lot. I think this kind of thing is what kind of keeps me engaged. You got one of these, Yoshi? Falconarium?
Yeah, it's not doing too hot, but
This thing, this is an ugly plant. What the hell is this? What is this? Right? All of this thing and all of these ugly bits down here are still alive. This is just what this thing looks like. It just looks like this, right? And then when it blooms, this big ugly ass plant, when it blooms, it's got this kind of huge flower that pops
and
off of it.
smells really good.
Yeah, it smells really good. And it never looks any prettier than this. This is as green as this thing gets. Right? I got a phylum too. I'll show you that one. Those are actually blooming and they're in the garage. It does the same thing as this, long cascading canes. It's a real mess.
I would have never thought.
Yeah, I don't
Looks
even.
like the grass that I pull out, like the weeds that I pull out of my yard.
Yeah, I don't even know mine's alive
Actually,
alright.
we have over there a Philodendron gloriosum that's quite large. And that one I was saying I really like, Epidendrum centropetalum. We put a whole bunch of them in there. And then a guy who was new here didn't know. And he
Pulled it out?
He weeded them all. Threw them away. I was like, dude, that was like $500 worth of plants you just threw out. What did you do that? But, you know, mistakes happen. It happens. We made a hono in one of these logs. It's coming along pretty good. These things are fun. What I'm looking for, there's another one that's in here. Very odd. We may have to go into the garage. A very odd dendrobium. That this is another one of the one of these cane ones. This is actually, I think, of all the cane dendrobiums where they get deciduous. This one might be my favorite. This is loaded GCI.
Oh yeah, that's a nice
This
one.
one-
Spot that.
Yeah.
From Kawamoto.
Oh yeah, this is a great orchids. And
That's
they,
the pretty pink flowers.
you got a pink flower with a little orange center to it, sometimes yellow center to it, and it smells like orange peels. It's got a citrus smell to it.
I bought a mounted one.
This one's Papilio. This one makes a giant white flower at the top. Doesn't look like a dendrobium at all when it blooms. Kind of crazy. I don't see any more out here. We must have sold them all. We're gonna go inside. I'll show you guys some Dendrobium cuthbertsonii. That's from Papua New Guinea. And it's a tiny little dendrobium and it makes a huge flower. Some of these things are outsized in the flower, you know? Like, look. This is a mature plant. Right? That's as big as this plant gets. And look, it's blooming. Right?
Tiny little flower.
But
I
also
mean,
this
well, compared to the
plant's
plant,
tiny.
yeah.
This is as big as this plant gets. Right? I mean, from the bottom of my finger where it touches the tip of the leaf, it's like that. Just this much finger, right? But then the flower, compared to that tiny plant, flower's kind of big.
Actually, yeah.
These dendrobiums are hard because they don't all behave the same, right? So many sections. This one flowers from a part that still has leaves. Other ones flower only from parts that don't have leaves. So it's not like there's one rule for these. This one's not supposed to be deciduous, but if it gets angry, it doesn't like how much water it's getting or it's getting too much light, it'll start dropping leaves. And when a dendrobium drops a leaf, it always looks terrible. Look, this is not disease. This is no bacteria. There's not a virus. There's no pest on this. This is literally just the dendrobium leaf breaking down, right? But it's spotty and it looks awful. This looks like some kind of virus or some kind of mite infection or something. It's typical dendrobium behavior, just dendro dropping leaves. Got too wet or too hot or too cold or too something, didn't get enough water. It's got mad for some reason. These are hybrids, so a lot of these hybrids are made from what the area of Dendrobium we call the antler area. That's Canaliculatum, that's Antonatum, there's a few dozen of these. And they make these curly petals Actually, I think these are the sepals. These curly sepals. Did you see? I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. It was before COVID. At the Huntington Garden Show in California, one of these got the best in show. It took an FCC. And it had this curly Q that came up the top, and it was huge, and it was like every color. It was all the colors.
Wow.
These are really fun. Easy to grow. I can grow this at home. I grow this at home, right? If I can grow it at home, you can grow it at home. Because here we have a whole network of people and a support system and all these resources and everything. And at home, I'm lazy, and once in a while I just throw it under the sink and pop it back on a table or counter or whatever, and half the time I forget to deal with it. Oh, hey, look at this. Isocylus is blooming. Isocylus is a genus from Australia. Which one is this? Isocylus major. Well, that makes sense. It's the biggest one. These make these long grassy leaves, and then they bloom off the tip. And they're usually purple. There's an orange one. We have an orange one. Or maybe we had an orange one. We sold it. These are really, really fun. Fun orchid. I like the way this looks when it's not blooming. This thing, light. Oh my God. If you got a problem with direct sun, you don't know what to do, put this thing in it. This thing will gobble up light. This thing eats light like nothing else. In the summer, we got to water them like crazy because they're just hounding light. But if you want to look at how it actually grows, it makes like a little bit of a, like the rhizome's all down there, right? And it grows in like these, it's really, really chunky at the bottom. Kind of grows in like a weird cane. And then as it's growing forward, it pops up these super thin leaf stalks. We haven't had those bloom in a while. It's weird, when we grow them like this one blooms every 18 months.
Oh, that's a long time.
So it blooms in March or October. But if it blooms this March, it's not blooming again until next year, October. And this one bloomed last year in March, so I'm hoping in a couple of months this blooms. But I don't know why, it's just, I don't know, you know, it might be just confused. It is Australian.
Oh.
So it's like, is it summer? Is it winter? I don't know, I'm from down under. It's hard to say, Let's go inside and I'll show you guys some stuff that's inside, like these Dendrobiums.
Well, you know what? I actually gotta go.
You leaving?
I gotta go.
What do you got, a
So-
family or something, Yoshi?
Something like that. Something
Look at this
along
one.
that
Something
way.
here before you go, let me show you this.
Oh, that's the phylum. Yeah, I like phylums.
This is a phyllum, right? Flowers come off this janky dead bit, right? They smell real nice. Look how long this thing is. Like 4 feet long, right? And then it starts making new leaves, right? Front and back, new leaves, front and back. But what happens is at the end, if you let them run, they'll make a whole new plant. Here's a word, it comes from the islands, and now the entire world uses it, especially in the orchid world, but keiki, which means a baby or young person in the Hawaiian language. And this is what we call a keiki in the orchid world. And it's a little baby that grows on the end of the cane, and when the roots are about 4 inches long, one's probably big enough, we can pluck that off, get another piece of plastic, strap it onto that one, and we got a whole new plant. One of the things that's really great about orchids is you can share with your friends, okay? You buy this plant, and you take it home, and then when these things are going, you just break them all off. Put each one in a little pot with some moss, put each one on a little plank or in a basket or however you want to grow it, and then take it to the orchid meeting, and you could probably sell these things for $5-10 a piece, or you can just give them to your friends, or you can do like what we do sometimes. Like, I don't know if we'll do it with this one, we got a lot of them already, but we might break this apart and make a whole new crop out of all of these ones behind us that are blooming and making these keikis, and then go again next year with a new set of babies. You can propagate them asexually this way. Wonderful plant, easy to grow, love this thing. And then I'll see if I can find, before Yoshi's got to turn off this thing and go, I'm going to look for one more plant to show you. Well, this isn't the best one, but this has been Dendrobium cuthbertsonii. This is actually a dendrobium. don't know if you can see it. It's got this glittery leaf. The leaf glitters. Right? And then when this makes the flower, this is as big as this gets. This is a mature, blooming sized plant. And when it makes the flower is this big. It's
Wow,
bigger
that
than
is
the whole
crazy.
plant. And what's crazy is it comes in every color except blue. And then the other thing is the flower lasts 4 to 6 months. Couple of tricks with this one, don't fertilize it. These things hate salt. So when you fertilize and the fertilizer doesn't get used, the salt breaks down and it stays in the pot, and then it throws the pH balance off and it screws all the roots up. And just use clean water, just clean RO water is the best for this thing. If you're gonna fertilize it, fine, go ahead and fertilize it. Wait 30 minutes after you fertilize it, and then go back and water it again, clean water, real good to get all that fertilizer out, right? This thing grows in Papua New Guinea, and where this thing grows is, to my knowledge, I've not seen it, and I've not been to the sites, but what I've heard from the people who have been there is that you'll be looking at this plant, and it comes in every color, and on the branch, you'll see an orange one with a big ass flower, and then like just a foot or two down the branch, you'll see another one that's like a purple one with a big ass flower, and then a red one, and then a yellow one, and then a yellow one with orange. And there's something going on with the genetics in this plant where the color is just now haywire, and they come in every color you can possibly imagine except blue. They don't come in blue. And there are people who collect just this, right? Related to this, Vexillarius, Violaceum, these are all types of Dendrobium, and they're all kind of similar in that they really don't like that fertilizer. So, and it's not the fertilizer they don't like, it's the salt left over. So this is a real fun one. It grows good, and just another one, good in a terrarium, because it never gets much bigger than this, and when it flowers, it's a really big, bright thing you can see. So it puts on a lot of show for a little plant. And this one's expensive too. This tiny little thing. We sell it here for $55.
Oh, wow.
So this is not a cheap plant. All right, I don't know if you guys want to keep filming, I'll keep going. But Yoshi said he got to go. So.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, I know. My parents are waiting in the car.
Yeah, your mom, poor mom. Hey, though, you guys come walking around here anytime. You're always welcome. We do like it when people visit. And Emerald City Orchids, we're open every day. And we like looky-loos and we like loiterers. And we want people to come in here and just see these plants. And then, like when Christmas comes and you want to get one, you'll get one. But until then, we want people to like enjoy it and enjoy the space. And right now it's perfect because it's probably 70 degrees outside. The nursery is warm, it's humid. You come on a rainy day, we got the tropics in here for you. Anytime you want to come down here, you're always welcome. And if it's real hot, we'll even give you a bottle of water.
Oh, nice.
So.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well,
we appreciate you coming
it's
out.
been-
Oh, thank you.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad I got to meet Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of cool. This is like a weird mashup event.
Yeah.
This is like a weird collaboration crossover of the social media world and orchids. So
Right.
yeah, I'm not kidding. The only thing I really love more than orchids is just sitting around talking about orchids. If you got a greenhouse and a bunch of orchids and a case of beer, I will not leave. I'll just be in there. Yoshi and I have done it.
Oh yeah, we've done it.
But this one's full of weeds.
Yeah. Well,
Some of these
anyways,
weeds- some of these weeds we like, but some of these we don't.
I gotta go.
Goodbye,
Yeah,
Yoshi.
Me too.
I'll see you soon.
We'll see you later.
Nice to
It was
meet
nice
you.
meeting you.
Yeah.